That fear of not being good enough, it held me back so long and still holds on a little bit. Like I still have, these, am I doing the right thing? Are things working type of fears? And there is this fear of like, when you get started, like you take on everybody, you can't say no, it's really hard to like pass up on an opportunity. And I'm just here to say that the no is very powerful. You should only take on people that feel good in your gut to be working with. And if it doesn't feel good, there's a reason it doesn't feel good. Don't be afraid to say no. You are capable. You are capable of learning, even if you don't feel like you have all of the answers right now. If you have the desire to learn and to solve and find those answers, you will succeed. And I'm a big believer in closing one door is going to open up many more doors that you don't know are there. But you have to close the first one first to open up the abundance.
Today we're going to be joined by Megan. Not only is Megan a successful bookkeeper and owning her own practice, but she has also built a thriving community of accountants and bookkeepers and CPAs. So we're going to hear her story, her journey, and she's going to share with us the ins and outs and everything that she's willing to share with us today.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for accepting to be here.
Yeah. How's your day been so far?
It's been a busy day, back-to-back meetings. I actually went to see one of my clients today because mostly I do remote. But for this one client, I do offer an exception where I go to meet them in person sometimes. And today was one of those days. So
yeah. Most of my clients are remote too, but it's so fun when we actually get to connect with them in person and have that one-on-one conversation, and that it feels different. It feels good.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to dive into that. So I'm going to get started right away with you telling us about your journey. What is it that inspired you to get started with bookkeeping?
Yeah. So I had my first daughter in 2014, and my goal was always to be a stay-at-home mom. And I was very blessed to be able to be in that position. And when she was about a year old in 2015, I had this desire of like, I wanted something more for myself. I love being able to be at home with my kids, but I just felt like something was kind of missing. So then the deep dive into Google of like what I can do from home started. And I found bookkeeping, and I've always loved numbers. And I supported a few of my family friends and some friends in those early seasons. I took some courses and I was really interested, but there was a lot of fear that held me back. Like, could I actually do this? So over those years, I tried a few different things. Nothing really stuck. And in 2021, it was like, okay, we're going to try this again. We're going to give this a go. We're going to try. And that's when I legalized my business and I started pouring more into actually trying this journey again. And that's kind of where it started from there. So just about 4 years ago, I started my business Numbers by Megan, and I just recently rebranded at the beginning of this year over to the Numbers Wellness Co. So I've had a passion for numbers. I have a passion for putting the pieces together. I like a stack of receipts and having to organize it. I'm one of those weird people that enjoys that. So it just kind of became this process where I love helping and serving other people, and numbers make sense to me. And I feel like I've been called to help other people understand their numbers better. So I've been on a journey for the last 4 years, is actually officially in the business world, which is crazy to me, but it's been an amazing journey. And then along the way, I created this community for other bookkeepers in the same areas of life. I felt like I was searching on Facebook groups and not getting the support that I felt like I needed. Mm-hmm. And so I've created this space where it's a judgment-free space where you can come and ask those questions, because we all work in different niches, have different experiences. And I think we should use each other as resources versus this like competition. I can't talk to you. So that's how the two came about. So what was it you were searching in Facebook groups that you couldn't find there that made you decide to create your own community? I would ask questions and the answers would come back either join my program to get those answers, which I understand. I understand that you don't want to give value away for free, and I respect that. But I felt like my answers were too stupid to be answered, or my questions were too stupid to be answered. So I just didn't feel like I was going to get the support from the Facebook groups that really felt like I had the confidence to do this myself.
So
And
you felt like your questions were stupid, or they made you feel like your questions were stupid?
I felt like my questions were
Give me
stupid.
an example
And
of a question that you would ask
uh,
there.
I mean, like a reconciliation question,
Okay.
like this isn't balancing correctly. And then I'd get no responses on my post. So it made me feel like nobody was interested in helping, or the question was too stupid to ask, that they were like, she'll figure it out. So it felt judged to me, and I just didn't feel, and it could totally have been a me thing
Mm-hmm.
of I just wasn't feeling welcomed into those spaces. But for me, I just wanted to create a space where we could all just be normal bookkeepers and accountants and actually help and serve each other, versus this, oh my goodness, I can't talk to you because we do the same thing, we serve the same people.
Yeah, I've gone through a few Facebook groups, and I do see exactly what you're talking about. I do see that because I would go through the groups, and my intention going there is to go and help and serve people and answer
Yeah.
those questions, because people do have
Yeah.
those questions. And unless you've actually done this for a while, like when you've done it for a while, it just comes to you intuitively. You know
Yeah.
certain things. You could look at it as like, oh, that's wrong, and I know
Yeah.
how to fix that. But the person who is starting new doesn't know, and they would pose those questions. And true to your point, there's nobody actually taking the time to respond to it.
Yeah.
Or everyone is trying to be like, join my program, instead of giving the value
Yeah.
that, yeah.
And
Okay.
I don't have an accounting background. I came in this and I have learned everything that I've learned in my business through some courses I've taken and through hands-on experience. So there's also that maybe I was undereducated, and maybe I don't know. I just felt like some people could have been more educated and not wanted to have helped somebody who didn't know and was trying to get started. So yeah.
What's your background in? Because people would think that you need to have an accounting background or business background to get into bookkeeping. But what was your
So
background?
I went to school and got a degree in health science. Basically I could be like a PE teacher. I didn't finish the education side of things. Wellness, health, sports is my second passion, and like another big piece of me is just the physical fitness and enjoying that side. And as I was going through school, I was going to be a teacher, but I just didn't feel like I was meant to be in a classroom with 20 kids. I'm much more like a few kids at a time. So for me, it was like get a degree that was as fast as possible to get me done with the school side of things. So no, you don't have to have an accounting degree or a business degree to start a bookkeeping business, or any business that is. That if you have a passion on your heart and a desire to learn and you're eager to learn, you could do anything.
I love that. I literally have a post-it. Let me pull this right in front. I'm sitting in my office, and I'm gonna fold over this part so people don't see. And it's kind of scribbly. But what you just said there is, I said, for anything you want to do, you need to have the balls to start,
Yeah.
the brains to learn, and the grit to never quit, which
Yep.
is basically everything you just said right there. This is
Yep.
sitting in front of my desk, is always there. And
Yeah.
every now and then it comes up in conversation. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why you have that there.
Yeah.
You need to remind somebody about this
Mm-hmm.
today.
Yeah, I think fear holds us back a lot, and it held me back for a long time. So
Yeah.
many years and like seasons of life, it just wasn't ready for me to be into the business mode. But I really believe like there's a desire put on our hearts for a reason. Even if we don't have all the education that we think that we need, follow that desire and don't let fear win. Like there's a reason that desire is there. There's a reason that drive is there. As long as you're pursuing it, you have the balls to start, the brains to keep going, and all of that. Like you really could do anything.
Yeah. I love that. And there's something you said there which takes me to my next question, because you right now you focus on wellness experts,
Mhm.
right? You work with, that's your niche. You focus on people who are in the wellness industry. And it wasn't just by coincidence. Your background, from what you mentioned, it's in physical education, it's in sports, it's in all of that. So it goes with the wellness.
Yep.
Was that a determining factor in you picking wellness as the niche that you're going to work with?
Um, so I still work with a lot of niches, and I'm not opposed to working with different niches. I support service providers, so those are the type of overall arching business owners that I do. I just felt like stepping into this rebrand, this new season for me, I wanted it to feel more aligned with who I am as a person versus just I threw numbers by Megan together and it was like I threw it and I hope that it stuck and it did. And after 3.5 years, it was just time to like realign my business to my personal life. Fitness, working out are big passions of mine. And the coastal vibes is also the other part of the calming nature that was kind of more of the direction. So I focus on wellness driven entrepreneurs who are in the health and the holistic space. But I also have a passion. If you have a desire to serve through wellness in your clients, that is somebody I would like to connect with because I think we have an alignment in what we believe in and what we focus on.
Yeah, that's true. So what would you tell somebody who is struggling with picking a niche?
Well, it took me 3.5 years to like finally have the balls to jump in and say, I'm going to niche down. So I don't think that it is super important to niche. However, it is helpful. So niching allows you to find an avenue of like-minded people and work with them. Generally, their accounts are going to be similar, which is also
Yes.
helpful on my side. But I would recommend if sticking to like service providers versus trying to do service and product or bouncing between the two. If you're not ready to fully niche yet, find some areas that maybe you have passions with so that way you can relate to them. And there is this fear of like when you get started, like you take on everybody, you can't say no, you can't, it's really hard to like pass up on an opportunity. And I'm just here to say that the no is very powerful and you should only take on people that feel good in your gut to be working with. And if it doesn't feel good, there's a reason it doesn't feel good. um, so
At what
I would
point did
just,
you at what point did you feel comfortable saying no?
ooh, I held on way too long with one
Yeah.
client. And after that one client, there was another client that I started to feel that gut feeling like this is not going to be good long term. So that second one, I started to feel that and I said, this is not going to work. We need to like part ways. And thankfully I've got to a point in my business where I, you know, if you come to me as a lead and I don't feel like we're going to be the best fit, I have resources that I can provide you for other bookkeepers that may be a good fit for you. It's hard to say no. It's hard to like pass up on income. It's hard to pass up on those teaching moments to learn, but the no is so powerful.
Yeah. The first one is probably the hardest, but once you say that and then you feel it in your gut, like, yeah, I'm happy I said no to this person, and then it opens up for you. I think it makes you more aware
Yep.
and more okay with saying no to the people that don't fit
Yep.
within, they just don't
And
fit. Something doesn't sit
that
right.
that weight of anxiety of like a notification comes from them or an email comes up from them and they're bugging and asking more of those questions. There's like this weight that like I felt, and maybe that's an experience other bookkeepers have felt of like, oh, like them again. Like it just didn't feel good. If that weight is removed, it feels so much lighter. It
Mm-hmm.
feels so much more freeing. And I'm a big believer in closing one door is going to open up many more doors that you don't know are there. But you have to close the first one first to open up the abundance.
Absolutely. Oh well,
Yeah.
space speaking like somebody in the wellness space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about softwares.
Mhm.
Do you serve all your clients on the specific bookkeeping software, or do you learn several softwares and serve people across
Yeah.
different ones?
QuickBooks and Xero are my two main ones. I prefer Xero over QuickBooks. So if you're coming to me and you don't have a software, that is probably where I'm going to put you. Other than that, I have worked in a couple others, but I have just really find what works for me and stick with it instead of if a client comes to me and they're in a platform I don't know or I'm not comfortable with. I learned a lesson of trying that way and it just became not a good fit for me. So over time, I have just learned like stick in the lanes that I know of the places where I feel comfortable because I'm going to be better set to serve them if I have the right experience of what I understand is going on.
Yeah, I truly believe in that as well. I'm a big believer for pick the software you want to use for your client and just go
Mhm.
with it. And if people
Mhm.
come your way and they are not on the software, they're not. If again, I use QuickBooks and I've used Zero. My preference is
Yeah,
QuickBooks,
yeah,
and there are some clients who QuickBooks is not a fit for them.
yeah,
And so you would see bookkeepers who, because they only know QuickBooks, they would try to force a client's books to work in
yep,
QuickBooks, knowing full well that that software doesn't work well for them.
yep,
It comes down to being comfortable saying no. It's like, okay, I could serve you, but I can't serve you on the software you use. And this one is not a fit for your business. So I would refer you to somebody
yep,
else. I guess that's where it really comes. It's really useful to also have a community of people that you could pass on business to, and they could also pass on business to you.
yep.
And you just like,
Work
you're
together.
an expert in it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
But I do find a lot of people still like, I'm going to take everybody. I'm going to learn the software.
yep.
What do you say to them?
Oh, don't. I think it's really important to not do everything. It's the
Yes.
same way of not serving every client that's a good fit. You don't need to know all the softwares to know like how to serve the client. And maybe they aren't a good fit, maybe, and that's okay. There will be other clients that will want to work with you, want to be in the software that you feel comfortable in because they trust you to do their books for
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, I want to dive into the biggest challenges. What are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced along your journey of being a bookkeeper?
Um, Well, I'm kind of in the biggest season right now of growth and bringing on more support and team members. So that is a little bit of a challenge I am navigating now. It's a good blessing to have, but it's also put me into a different role to be more in that CEO space than just like here I am taking care of people's books and it's going well. So there's definitely a little bit more stress now. I also think getting a good system and process of each client and each monthly process. And that takes time to finally get that rhythm, but create the rhythm, find the platform to track each client, track everything and track it every month versus all of the sticky notes and trying to keep it all in your head because things will be lost. You have to have a system in place. And it took me a while to feel confident in the systems I was creating to be on track with everything.
What systems do you use?
I currently moved over to Financial Sense for my document sharing, my communication with my clients, and for all of my team communication and my client task and to-dos is what I've been using.
Okay. Yeah, I was talking to somebody in a mid-sized firm right here. I'm in Montreal, a mid-sized firm right here, and like 10 years ago, they used to use this Excel
Yeah.
document that tracks everything in this, and they're still using the exact same
Wow.
one. Apparently, it worked. It
Yeah, I mean,
works.
it
It
works
keeps
for
them on
them.
track.
Yes.
Yeah,
And it
and,
doesn't have to be fancy. I
yeah,
think that's also a thing that we get caught up, especially when we're starting our
yeah,
business, is we get here, you got to use this software, you got to try it this way, you got to do these things. Like, no, find the platform that works for you, find the system that works for you. Maybe it is a spreadsheet, maybe it is the easiest for you to track it on a spreadsheet, but don't overcomplicate it. Like, don't
yeah,
try to make it work how it works for somebody else because we're all created differently.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, okay. Next question for you is I'd like to dive into one of the success stories you've had. What has been your favorite client success story, within your
Yeah.
community or within your own practice?
Um, it's been just really fun to watch clients that have been with me for a couple of years, like to see their growth, to see them bringing on team members, to see them going from 4K months to 6K months, or not 6, 5K months. Just seeing how their growth from January to December has been and just being a part of that journey and, being a part of watching their dreams come true.
Good. And then is there like one moment that really validated for you that you made the right decision to go into bookkeeping?
I mean, I love cleaning up messes in the numbers. And so
Only a bookkeeper would say
I
that.
know only a bookkeeper would say that. I just feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I don't know if there was actually like a turning point where it was like, yes, this is good, but I get joy out of what I get to do and how I get to serve. So I feel like that just triumphs
Yeah.
it.
But within the first 4 years of you're kind of dabbling in it, and then eventually it's like, okay, I'm gonna go incorporate my business, do it, go all in.
Mm.
What was your hesitation within those first few years that didn't get you to go all in?
Uh, can I do this? Who's going to pick me? There's so many other bookkeepers out there that are more qualified. Who's going to choose
Mm-hmm.
me? Fear, both of those are just fear driven reasons that I just didn't think that was good enough to create something that I have. I'm still blown away and grateful every month, every year of what the amount of people that I've been able to serve on my time. So, just that fear of not being good enough, it held me back so long, and it still holds on a little bit. Like I still have, these am I doing the right thing? Are things working type of fears. But you just got to keep moving forward, moving past them.
Yeah, but what changed? What got you past that stage? Do you know? We can put a finger on it.
I don't think I could put a finger on it. I think it's
Yeah.
just a matter of, oh, another client coming, somebody else trusting me. Maybe it was when I finally learned to say no, because then I've had like the faith in myself, like other people will be here to fill those spaces. But I don't really recall like a specific like turning point.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of things, right? Because then
Yeah.
to what you said, it was one client after the other coming in, and it gave you the evidence, like, oh, I can actually do those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Even if I think I can't, or as I'm doubting myself, people actually do believe in me, and I'm
Yeah.
doing this, and I'm
Yeah. People are
solving
finding
problems for
me.
them.
Yeah.
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 So were you actually doing any kind of advertising, or was mostly just word of mouth?
Everything I mean, I've shown up on social
Yeah.
media. I've tried to be present on social media. I haven't done any like paid ads. My clients have come to me just either by finding me on social media or by referrals, which is also the best way to get connected with other
Yeah.
clients.
And that's the best thing that actually happens when you niche
Yeah.
down. So
Yeah.
somebody tells a friend who was looking, because they're going to talk. Oh, you
Yep.
need somebody. Okay, go
This
talk
is
to
the
Megan.
person. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. That's beautiful. So what would your advice be to bookkeepers who are looking to grow their business and make meaningful impact? Anything?
Um, don't be afraid to say no.
Good.
And you are capable. You are capable of learning, even if you don't feel like you have all of the answers right now. If you have the desire to learn and to solve and find those answers, you will succeed.
Beautiful. Wow. Okay. Now is your moment. If there's anything I haven't asked you that you want to share, maybe talk about your community and get people into it or anything, just go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just share a little bit more about the community real quick. This is a safe space for bookkeepers and accountants to come to get answers to questions. We have a guest training every month, and at any time that you join the community, you have access to all the previous trainings that we've had, which is well over 15 that are in there. And then we have 2 meetings a month for like a co-working and just like connection time, because I think it can be really lonely in this online space. Like we're not in an office, right? We're not seeing our coworkers every day.
Yeah.
So being able to connect and make friends with bookkeepers and accountants, like it's just been really rewarding. Again, just that safe space to come as you are. Like there's no judgment here. We're all in different niches. We all have different experiences. And I think that helps when, like right now in the panic of 1099 season in the United States,
Yeah.
it's what do we do with here? What is this one? And just like that space to like come and ask those questions versus trying to solve it by going to Google and not knowing what the answer is.
Yeah, because those things, there's always something new that comes up every year.
Mm-hmm.
Like right here in Canada, I'm looking at the forms that we're doing for taxes for the payroll taxes, and then it's like, what is that box? I didn't even know what that was. And it's like, okay, so once you have that space where you could always go and ask your peers because somebody has already looked at that thing that you're trying to look at, and instead of going to try to figure it out on your own, you just bounce ideas back and forth, right? It
and save so
saves a
much
lot of time.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.